loyal listeners. It is your friend Lo here. I'm glad that you are able to join me on another episode of Lounging with Lo. And again, if this is your first time tuning in, I want to extend a big warm welcome to you and to all my other loyal listeners. It's great to have you back. I'm going to invite you guys to connect with me on my social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, where we can explore exciting content and engage with each other's thoughts and ideas. Your feedback is incredibly important to me. So please feel free to reach out to me through email. My email is on my social media pages if you'd like to tell me your thoughts on my work, any topics you'd like for me to cover in future episodes, or maybe some ideas that can help me improve. In today's episode, as we wrap up the month of February, we are going to talk about the iconic movie and TV couples that we know and love. Well, maybe we grew up with these characters, maybe we're just discovering them for the very first time. As I always mention in all of my episodes, if you have not watched any of the movies or the TV shows that I mention in the podcast, I recommend that you stop the podcast right now and you watch them, since there may be some spoilers. So the first topic we're going to talk about is the iconic movie couples. We're going to talk about the infamous Danny Zuko and Sandy Olsen from Grease. We're going to talk about Tony and Maria from the West Side Story, Rocky and Adrian from the Rocky series, Wesley and Buttercup from Princess Bride, Jack and Rose from Titanic, Forrest Gump and Jenny from Forrest Gump, and Anakin and Padme from Star Wars. And there are so many others, but we're going to focus on these ones. Danny Zuko is the leader of the T-Birds, the cool gang at Rydell High School. But there is another side of Danny that no one sees, the one that Sandy meets at the beach. Now, Danny and the T-Birds like to pick on the students at school. They have a tough exterior, but they have soft interiors that no one knows. Sweet, naive Sandy Olsen is from Australia, and she fell in love with Danny on summer vacation. Now, she was supposed to go back home, but her family decided to stay in America, and Sandy enrolled at Rydell. Sandy and Danny meet again at the school bonfire, and Sandy saw the tough side instead of the soft side as she met at the beach of Danny. Now, Danny feels bad about how he treated Sandy at the bonfire, and he works on getting her back. And obviously, as everybody should know, by the end of the movie, they are a couple again. John Travolta and the late Olivia Newton-John portrayed these characters, and they did an amazing job showing the chemistry between these two characters. John Travolta is best known for beating Tony Moreno in Saturday Night Fever, Vinnie Barbarino in Welcome Back, Kotter, and James in Look Who's Talking with the late Kirstie Alley. Now, John is a pilot, and he flies Boeing planes as well as acting as an official Goodwill ambassador for the airline. I guess you guys didn't know that, did you? Olivia's performance as Sandy was ranked number 89 on the 100 greatest movie characters of all time list in Premiere Magazine. She campaigned for innovative cancer research and treatment methods after her initial cancer diagnosis in 1992, and she established the Olivia Newton-John Cancer Wellness and Research Center at Austin Hospital near Melbourne, Victoria in 2012. For her entertaining and charity work, Olivia Newton-John was made an officer of the Order of the British Empire, or the OBE, in the 1979 New Year's Honors, and was promoted to Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, or DBE, in the 2020 New Year's Honors. She was appointed an Officer of the Order of Australia in 2006 and was elevated to a Companion of the Order of Australia in 2019. West Side Story. Now, this is a modern rendition of the Romeo and Juliet play by William Shakespeare. Like Romeo and Juliet, Tony and Maria are ill-fated lovers. Tony and Maria come from two different sides of New York City, the Jets and the Sharks. They don't get along very well. They meet at a dance, and Tony falls instantly for Maria, and she falls for him too. As their love grew, so did the tension between Tony's friends, the Jets, and Maria's brother, the leader of the Sharks. Now, obviously, as everybody knows, at the end of the movie, these families come together. Now, there are two versions of this film. Obviously, the one is from 1961, which is the original version, and the remake in 2021. I thought they did a pretty good job trying to keep it the same. I think it was pretty good. You guys give me your opinions on it. So the 1961 version of the film, we talked about the actor Richard Beimer, if I'm saying his name correctly, plays Tony, and the late Natalie Wood plays Maria. Now, Natalie could sing, But they used Marnie Nixon's singing voice since it was a little bit stronger for the voice of the songs. Now, Richard's voice was dubbed as well by Jimmy Bryant. Now, Richard has appeared on 3 Oscar-nominated films for Best Picture: The Diary of Anne Frank in 1959, West Side Story in 1961, and The Longest Day in 1962. Now, West Side Story was the only winner in this category. Natalie Wood played the little girl in the 1947 film Miracle on 34th Street, where she was only 8 years old. She earned an Academy Award nomination for her role in Rebel Without a Cause. Here's one interesting fact that I learned about Natalie, is that she was known for getting all her lines right on the first take, and she was nicknamed One Take Natalie as a result of that. That's a pretty good talent, if I should say myself. Rocky Balboa and Adrian are the next couple that we're going to discuss. Rocky and Adrian are one of the iconic couples of the 80s. Now, as everybody might have seen the Rocky movies, we know that Rocky is a boxer who is trying to prove himself, but he lacks the self-confidence in himself. He works as a loan shark to support himself in the meantime. Now, he meets a very shy woman named Adrian. She is the opposite of Rocky, and they fall in love. Now, Adrian has been his biggest supporter and helps build his self-confidence. Rocky brings Adrian out of her shell as well, and Rocky becomes a successful boxer with Adrian by his side. Sylvester Stallone and Talia Shire did a great job portraying these characters as well. Here's a really cool fact, guys, I thought I'd share with you. Forceps were used during Stallone's birth that damaged a facial nerve that left him with a droopy left eyelid and a speech impediment. Here's another fun fact. He wrote and directed the film Staying Alive back in 1983. Now, he brought John Travolta back to play Tony Manero in this movie as well. He did a very nice job on this one as well. Talia Shire is best known for being Connie in the Godfather franchise. I was surprised in my research to learn that Talia is related to Francis Ford Coppola. She is his sister. She was the first family member of Francis Ford Coppola to play a part in the Godfather series, and she set a trend that the others followed. All of their characters had the same relationship to Michael Corleone in the films that they had to Coppola in real life. Talia, as Francis's sister, played Michael's sister. Talia's mother, Italia Coppola, played Michael's mother, although only at the character's funeral. Her niece and Francis's daughter, Sofia Coppola, played Michael's daughter, and Connie Corleone's niece, Diane Keaton, who played Michael's wife, has also said that she based her performance as Kay on Eleanor Coppola, Francis's wife. That's crazy, isn't it? Mind blown. Let's talk about the couple Wesley and Buttercup from the Princess Bride film. Buttercup was a spoiled rich girl that liked to boss her servant Wesley around. Now, Wesley complied with "as you wish." Now, Buttercup realized that she had feelings for Wesley and he for her, and they fell in love. But because he was poor, he couldn't marry her right away. So he went away to gain fortune but was never seen again, and Buttercup was devastated. Years later, they met again and fell back in love. But Buttercup was engaged to another man against her will, who made it difficult for Buttercup and Wesley. But as always, in the end, love conquers all, and Wesley gets his girl. Carrie Elwes and Robin Wright did an amazing job playing these characters as well. Carrie is known for playing period films like Robin Hood Men in Tights from Mel Brooks' production, and A Christmas Carol, which was what he did with Jim Carrey, and also Robin Wright as well. He has also played villains in a few films like The Jungle Book as Captain William Boone, Dr. Jonas Miller from Twister, and Sir Edgar in Ella Enchanted. Robin Wright has appeared in 2 films that have been selected for the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. That would be The Princess Bride from 1987 and Forrest Gump in 1994. So before she even pursued acting, she actually was a model in her teens. So we've seen a common theme here with our actors and actresses. They started modeling before they became big actors. So let's talk about our iconic 90s movie couple, Jack and Rose from Titanic. This is a classic love story. It's a story about how two people from different social classes fell in love during one of the biggest tragedies in history. Jack Dawson came from a lower class family. He happened to win tickets on Titanic in a poker game. Rose, on the other hand, was a first-class passenger on her way home from Paris. Rose felt trapped in her world, and Jack was just enjoying his life when they met during a situation where he saved her life. They fell in love, but their love was doomed. Here's a big spoiler alert, guys. Only Rose survived the sinking ship. But even in her older years, she still dreamt of her true love, Jack. Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet did an amazing job with these characters. Now, did you know that Leo was only 5 years old when he began his television career? He starred in The Romper Room and made a few appearances in Roseanne, but was better known for being a part of the Seaver family in Growing Pains in 1991. He received an Academy Award for his role in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, featured Johnny Depp. Kate Winslet, on the other hand, grew up in the acting industry. Her family were also actors. So she started out young doing small acting jobs for commercials, TV shows, and stage plays. Kate Winslet has appeared in 5 films that were nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture. That would be Sense and Sensibility in 1995, Titanic in 1997, Finding Neverland with Johnny Depp in 2004, The Reader in 2008, and the sequel to Avatar, which is Avatar: The Way of Water in 2002. Titanic was the one film that won in that particular category. Forrest Gump and Jenny are another iconic couple that I am sure all of my listeners know or have heard about. Forrest is a boy with special needs, and Jenny, a girl with her own issues, is his best friend. Forrest refers to them as 2 peas in a pod. As they grow up, they grow apart. Forrest goes to Vietnam, and Jenny becomes part of the hippie movement. They run into each other a few times, but don't get together until they are mature adults. They marry, and they have a son. But unfortunately, sadly, Jenny gets sick and dies, leaving Forrest to raise their son alone. Tom Hanks and, again, Robin Wright play these characters. Tom is also known for playing Jim Lovell in Apollo 13, the cowboy Woody from the Toy Story series, and the Wonders manager Mr. White from That Thing You Do. Now, speaking of That Thing You Do, did you guys know that Tom Hanks actually acted, directed, and wrote that movie? Pretty cool, huh? The last movie couple we're going to talk about is Anakin and Padme from the Star Wars prequel series. We first meet them when they are young in The Phantom Menace. 10 years later, they meet again when Anakin was assigned to protect Padme in Attack of the Clones. From there, their relationship began to blossom, but they had to refrain from love because Anakin is a Jedi, and it is forbidden to love. Anakin has dreams of Padme dying like he did about his mother in Revenge of the Sith. He couldn't save his mother, but he thinks he can save Padme. So Anakin obsesses about it along with other things that cause him to go to the dark side, thinking he could save her. Padme still saw good in him, but she died in childbirth and couldn't keep him from turning on the Jedi. Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman play these characters beautifully. Hayden was chosen by George Lucas, the director of the series, because George thought that Hayden had raw talent and had great chemistry with Natalie. 400 other candidates were considered to play Anakin. Did you also know that Hayden is the only actor to portray both Anakin Skywalker and the alter ego Darth Vader in the same movie? Revenge of the Sith, while in other films, Anakin and Vader are played by 2 different actors. Natalie Portman was actually born in Jerusalem, and in 1984, her family moved to the United States. She started doing modeling jobs and acting. Did you also know that Natalie is one of the 14 actresses to have won the Academy Award, BAFTA Award, Critics' Choice Award, Golden Globe Award, and the SAG Award, which is the Screen Actors Guild Award, for the same performance? That's a pretty big achievement for such a young woman. The others in that that did the same thing are Julia Roberts, Renee Zellweger, Reese Witherspoon, Dame Helen Mirren, Jennifer Hudson for Dreamgirls, Kate Winslet, Monique, Octavia Spencer, Anne Hathaway, Kate Blanchett, Patricia Arquette, Julianne Moore, and Brie Larson. Let's shift our attention to the TV couples. We're going to talk about Ross and Rachel, Zach and Kelly, Corey and Topanga, Leonard and Penny, Amy and Sheldon, and Jim and Pam. There are so many others that we know and love, but this podcast would be hours long. Let's talk about Ross and Rachel. They are a much-loved couple from the hit show Friends. Ross had this big crush on Rachel when they were in high school, but she saw him as her friend's nerdy brother. Years later, they meet again when Rachel calls up for a wedding to Barry. Rachel begins working as a waitress at Central Perk and moves in with Ross's sister Monica. Now, Ross is a paleontologist, which means he studies the dinosaurs, that works at a museum. Now, as the series progresses, Ross and Rachel become an on-again and off-again couple, with their first breakup leading to the famous line, "We were on a break!" Love wins out for these two in the end. They have a daughter together named Emma. David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston played these characters and did an amazing job. David entered the acting business in 1984 at Northwestern University and found inspiration from the Chicago stage. In his junior year, he was part of the production of Alice in Wonderland that launched the theater company that he co-founded. Did you also know that he was awarded the 1991 Joseph Jefferson Award citation for play for directing a stage adaptation of The Jungle at the Looking Glass Theater Company in Chicago? That is amazing. Good job, David. Jennifer Aniston's father, John Aniston, was an actor in the soap opera Days of Our Lives. Before she began acting in 1981 in television shows, she actually worked as a telemarketer, bike messenger, and a waitress. Hope she was good, unlike her character Rachel in the beginning of the series. She also inspired the Rachel, which is a hairstyle back in the 90s that everybody wanted. Well, this was a haircut that she actually didn't like. But it became popular in the 90s. I've done it a few times. I love this style. Let's talk about Zach and Kelly. They are a couple from the beloved series Saved by the Bell. Now, Zach is a troublemaker and Kelly is the popular girl. They were friends for a while, and then their relationship blossomed, but obstacles fell in their way. They overcame them and came together stronger than ever. They go away to college, and then they get married and live happily ever after. Mark Paul Gosselaar and Tiffany Thiessen play this couple. Now, Mark began his career as a model at the age of 5, along with doing a few commercials for Oreo cookies and the Smurf merchandise. I don't know if you guys really know this. I didn't know this either. Mark's hair isn't really blonde. Yeah, it's not. So what they had to do was they had to dye his hair blonde for every episode of Saved by the Bell because he had brown hair. Tiffany started her career in a Barbie commercial back in 1985 where they were selling the Peaches and Cream doll. She began modeling at the age of 8. You can also see Tiffany in another hit series, White Collar, that aired on the USA Network a few years back, where she played the wife of an FBI agent in the White Collar department. Let's talk about another infamous couple from the 90s, Corey Matthews and Topanga Lawrence. Corey and Topanga grew up together. And as they grew older, so did the love that they felt for each other. They grew apart, but somehow destiny brought them back together and they were eventually married. Years later, their relationship was revisited in the Girl Meets World show featuring their daughter, Riley. Ben Savage plays Corey Matthews in the series. His brother Fred from the Wonder Years has been on an episode of the series, and I'll bet it was interesting to play opposite of his older brother. Ben took a break from acting and was an intern for a U.S. Senator in Palo Alto because of his political science degree from Stanford. Danielle Fishel started her career at the age of 10 when she was in 2 productions at a community theater, and at the age of 12 is when she debuted as Topanga on the show. After the series ended, and she did a few more roles, but got her first hosting job on the show called The Dish on the Style Network. My mom used to love that show. The Big Bang Theory had 3 couples, Penny and Leonard, Amy and Sheldon, Bernadette, and Howard. But for today's episode, we're going to talk about Penny and Leonard and Amy and Sheldon. Sheldon and Leonard are physicists at Caltech and are socially awkward, but Leonard was brave enough to meet their neighbor, Penny. Over time, they developed a friendship that blossomed into a relationship. They were on and off for a while. They finally decided to let go of their fears and get married. Kaylee Cuoco and Johnny Galecki played these characters. Now, Johnny is known for being David on the hit show Roseanne and was also Chevy Chase's son Russ in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Kaylee was also known for playing Bridget on the show 8 Simple Rules with the late John Ritter. These two actors actually dated in real life. Amy and Sheldon are the next couple that we're going to discuss. Sheldon is a very interesting character because he's a very factual and socially awkward individual. Now, as a prank, Howard and Raj, who were their other friends, set him up with Amy Farrah Fowler, who is almost exactly like him. Over time, Amy brings out a side of Sheldon he tried to deny. Sheldon grew and started to allow Amy to be a part of his life and eventually married her. Jim Parsons and Mayim Bialik play these two characters. Mayim plays Amy Farrah Fowler, who is a neuroscientist. In real life, Mayim got her PhD in neuroscience. Jim received his Master of Fine Arts degree in acting from the Old Globe Theater University of San Diego's professional training program and is the tallest cast member of The Big Bang Theory. The last couple that we're going to talk about in this episode is Jim and Pam from the Office US series. Jim and Pam work together at Dunder Mifflin, which is a paper company. Jim secretly loves Pam, but she is engaged to Roy, who works at Dunder Mifflin too. He is a warehouse employee. Pam's engagement to Roy, Jim telling her how he felt and being rejected, his transfer to Stanford and meeting Karen, and so many other obstacles continually kept them apart. But eventually they let go of their fear and they got together. John Krasinski and Jenna Fischer play these characters and do a great job bringing them to life. John Krasinski is married to Emily Blunt, who portrays the character Mary Poppins in Mary Poppins Returns. IMDb says if he did not pursue acting, that he wanted to be an English teacher. John graduated from Brown University in 2001 with a BA in English literature. Now, Jenna Fischer worked as a receptionist in various offices and types 85 words per minute with 90% accuracy, so that really helped play the character. She originally enrolled at Truman State University as a pre-law student, later changed her major to theater. Well, that's the end of the episode, but if there are any other couples that you want me to talk about in a future episode, please let me know and I will mention them in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I want you guys to stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to discuss the hit TV show, The Big Bang Theory. You don't want to miss out on that. As always, let's lounge together. Bye, guys.